It's my pleasure to welcome on stage Solomon Gouden, Country Manager at Markets.com, and the Rugby Champion and Markets.com Brand Ambassador, Bryan Habana. Solomon, Bryan, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Elisa.
Thank you.
Sitting pretty close, Solomon. You need to give me some space here. We're not in a scrum.
Okay, Bryan, are you comfortable?
I'm very comfortable. Good morning. We are still morning, eh?
Yes, we are. All right, Bryan, let's kick it off. So my first question for Bryan, let's start with a difficult one, Bryan. I'm going to answer the rugby questions. He's going to answer the finance questions.
Perfect. Let's do that.
Okay, Bryan. So all South Africans would like to know, apart from your Springbok and your overseas assignments, you've also made appearances for the Lions, the Bulls, and the Stormers. And there were some good franchise milestone achievements. Looking back, is the one that you enjoyed most, and was it quite memorable? Which franchise was that?
Ooh, with Devil Potgieter sitting at the back there, I need to be very careful with my answer. Good morning, everyone. Lovely to be at the Finance Magnets event here in the Sand Convention Center. Great to be here with Markets.com. Solomon, great question. I think I tell everyone it's a really difficult one. I get asked quite a bit, where does my allegiance lie? I think, looking back at my career, I grew up in Johannesburg, so there's a bit of a heart's moment here. The Bulls was 5 incredible years where we won some amazing trophies, Super Rugby twice, Currie Cup. I now base myself in Cape Town, so it's a very difficult one. I think I'm going to be very partisan, very diplomatic in the fact that each and every instance really formed me as a rugby player, but more importantly as a person. I think the success that I achieved at the Bulls was phenomenal. The group of players, incredibly world class that we got to achieve some phenomenal things with, then allowed me to go down to the Stormers in 2009 and really make an impact in a very young environment where we got to a Super Rugby final the following year against the Bulls, which we lost. They won 2 in a row. So I'm really just going to be diplomatic. Each and every one really formed me as a person. And I think what nice is that you hold those memories dear. You get friendships that get made forever. You meet people that you wouldn't have seen for 15 or 10 years, and you feel like you're a brother because of the moment. So I'm going to be very partisan. All of them, apply to who I am, and hopefully my contribution to each and every team, was valuable enough that, I have a special place in each and every one.
Thanks, Bryan. Quite a diplomatic answer. I take out from that he's regret not playing for the Sharks.
I actually, Rudolph Straley tried to lure me and Buckies down to Durban, and then we won Super Rugby the following year, so I'm not quite sure that was the best thing.
Good. Okay, my second question, Bryan. It's a well-known fact that you raced a cheetah, and of course you're still here to tell the story. My takeout from the cheetah campaign was your speed and your agility. How would you relate your speed and your agility in your trading experience on the Markets.com platform?
Yeah, I'm also very grateful that I'm still alive after that cheetah experience. If everyone wants to start doing a campaign, I'm going to be racing a turtle next year, not in the water, but on land, because I need to see that I've at least still got some speed. I think equating, the speed of transition, from racing a cheetah, I think within trading, again, I've fairly novice amateur, started just over 6 months ago, on the Markets.com platform. It's been a massive learning curve. I think, with my speed, running on grass, even though it was in a very experiential environment with a cheetah, I think the one thing that, much like that race that I'm assimilating to trading, is the cautiousness with which I approached it. I think, being an amateur, not understanding, educating yourself as much as possible, respecting the environment, I think is a very crucial one. And it's not always making the quickest decisions. It's about making the best decisions. And sometimes the quickest decisions or the most rapid decisions, are detrimental to your cause. Potentially running against a cheetah and on a trading platform. So I think for me, it's been really intuitive in terms of learning a little bit more about the environments, whether it be local or global indices, whether it be commodities, whether it potentially be the crypto environment. But it has been about upskilling myself. I think where with the speed running a cheetah, I sort of gravitated to that being a power, where now the power is actually opening yourself up to learning, which I think is incredibly powerful.
Great, that's good advice as well. This is quite a long one. So the stats have you that you've clocked a 100-meter dash in 10.2 seconds. I hope I got it right. You had most tries in a single tournament, equal with the great Jonah Lomu as the top try scorer in the 2004 IRB Under-21 World Cup. You're also a winner in 2007 World Cup with the box, and a few more that I might have missed.
Yeah.
The question is, and it's a two-part question, how did the ball come out of the ruck during the Super Rugby final against the Sharks? And the second question, you gave the Zimbabwe-born player for the US the outside track during the World Cup. Were you surprised at his pace?
Wow, throwing me right into the wolves, Solomon. So the first one, the Super Rugby final 2007 down at Kings Park. I was in that ruck. Bismarck du Plessis was absolutely manhandling me, and apparently Derek Keane somehow got a ball back. Steve Walsh, the then referee, apparently couldn't hear the assistant referee making a specific call. So I think it was all thanks to Derek Keane. I think if we had today's technology, that would have probably been a penalty against the Bulls, and the Sharks would have gone on to win it. That outside gap against the USA in 07, I will never ever live that down. It was the last time I ever underestimated someone in the opposition team and never did analysis before on them. I couldn't win everything that year, so I had to give someone else the Try of the Year trophy.
Okay, cool. So, are there synergies between your level of commitment and time spent to how you would suggest a trader approach the financial markets and trading?
Yeah, I think from a pure professional athletic environment, you sort of dedicate every waking second, to achieve success. Sort of standing here chatting to a few people, any trading journey for most people is sort of a side hustle, which is always a difficult one to comprehend because it does unfortunately require a lot of time and effort if you want to make a success of it. You can't, you could potentially hodl or hold on for dear life and, put something away and hope something happens in 5 to 10 years, or you could become intricately involved with it. And I think, very much like professionalism from a sporting perspective, if we really want to make a success of a trading journey, it does require time, it does require effort, and it does require you to sort of go outside the norms of what you understand, to be able to upskill yourself, to be making good decisions. For us as former professional rugby players, everything you did on the field, was based on how your body felt, how the environment felt, and from previous experiences to then make good decisions. And that intuitivity, came about almost like a sixth sense, where in terms of trading in the financial environments, if you're not understanding local and global indices, if you're not understanding how certain markets in and around the world, are reacting to certain elements, whether it be, the collapse of a crypto company, whether it potentially be the war in Ukraine, whether various things that happen from a financial environment impact things, you do get found wanting. And I'm not quite sure if everyone's always willing to say, but my first 2-3 months was not very positive. I was very humbled thinking that even with an easy platform like markets.com, I'd make an immediate profit, but there were a couple of big losses which I had to sort of humble myself and say, well, if you're not going to give the required attention and effort to this, it's not going to be a success. So in terms of equating the two, I think the dedication needed, even if it is a side hustle, I think is really important, that you're constantly upskilling yourself, constantly educating yourself outside of the environments that and in so doing, making better decisions by being informed better, which I think is important.
Yeah, good advice as well. Absolutely, in trading, you got to have a plan, you got to have a strategy, you got to execute with the psychology in mind, and I think that's what you kind of.
And also, just on that, lean on experts in the field. I'll be brutally honest, and I'm an absolute novice and amateur, so please don't come ask me for any trading advice. Whereas I can come to you or the various guys, whether it be at Marcus.com or at Finalto, and just get an understanding of those that have been there in the past. I know you've won a lot, you've lost a lot, but and understand things differently to a novice than me. So if you're not willing to open yourself up to learning, you definitely do struggle. If you don't have a plan or a strategy or that sort of constant ability to check in on what you're actually doing, you definitely get found wanting.
I suppose it's like a scrum off wanting to play lock.
Well, I was a scrum off, and I ended up on the wing. So let's be careful there, Mr. Gouden.
Okay, Bryan. So let's ask you one about the World Cup that's coming in 2023. Of course, most people in the room are going to support the Springboks.
Can we ask the All Black supporters to leave now? Sorry. Just joking. We love all of you. Not.
Give us the possible permutations or outcomes as we progress through the pool stages.
Yeah.
And if you're a betting man, give us the winner that you think will win the 2023 World Cup.
Sure. That's why I'm not a gambling man. So just quickly, for those of you that don't know, Rugby World Cup happening in France, September, October this year. For those of you that also don't know anything about rugby, South Africa have actually currently equaled New Zealand men's in terms of the most tournaments won in 3. So the team that wins the next one between those two will be the one with the most Rugby World Cup. So really hoping that firstly Siya Kolisi is ready for this World Cup. I think his inspiration can be pretty impactful. But just where rugby globally currently lies, you almost feel that the rugby power and prowess is up north. You have Ireland that have just won a Grand Slam over in the Six Nations. France with an impeccable leader in Antoine Dupont are going to be smashing the door down. And unfortunately, with the draw being done 2 years ago, the current draw means that 3 of the top 5 teams, according to the current world rankings, don't make a semi-final. So that makes betting odds really difficult, even for a strategic pundit like me who should be calling things. Being proudly South African and seeing what the Springboks amassed in 2019, becoming the first team to have lost the game in the pool stages, to then go on to win it. That victory against England was absolutely incredible. I was in the Yokohama Stadium that day. So, as a betting man, if I was going to go with my heart, you'd think that South Africa, has the opportunity. They'll go in under the radar, which I think is a really good thing. And again, seeing what they did last year in November against both Ireland and France gave me a lot of excitement about the potential for this team to go on to win it. If you're a betting man, you're probably going to go with the number 1 team in the world in Ireland, because not only are they the Grand Slam winners currently, but Leinster are also on track to win the URC and Heineken Champions Cup. And if I go back to 2007, the success of the Springboks came from the Bulls and the Sharks being in that Super Rugby final. So if I was a betting man with my heart, I'd go with the Springboks. If I was wanting to use my head, I'm probably going to go Ireland.
Another very diplomatic answer.
I gave both sides just to cover both ends. It wasn't diplomatic. It was naive.
Okay, Bryan, let's play a little game now. Let's call it word salad. I'm going to give you a word, and you say the first statement that comes to mind. How's that?
Cool.
Right?
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Boots.
Adidas. Do you want me to say more than one word? Sorry.
You can say as many words as you want.
Okay.
It's your time, your mic.
Sorry, I wore Adidas for my 124 test matches, so that's why.
Great. Coin.
Krugerrand.
Bonus.
Something I'm hopefully getting in December.
A ball.
Rugby World Cup final.
Okay, speaking about balls, Bryan, we've got a few balls that you might want to give away right now, right?
Definitely got a few balls.
How do you want to do it?
I mean, this crowd seems very quiet. I'm a little bit worried that either they're not hearing us or the speakers aren't good enough. But I reckon we maybe ask a few questions to see if they have been paying attention. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's go for it. Do you want to
Cool.
give
So we do have 4 autographed Rugby World Cup 2023 balls that we're going to be handing out. Are you happy to go with the first question? Let's see how interactive the crowd are going to become. Okay. So we're going to do fastest hand first. I'm going to judge. So if you're sitting there, I'm probably not going to see your hand because that light is like right in my eyes. So I'm not saying it's going to disqualify you, but my hand-eye coordination might be a bit slower in the left-hand corner. So Solomon, I'm going to let you go with the first question.
Okay, I'll give the question. You see whose hands go
Yeah,
up
okay,
first.
cool.
Okay, cool. First question. How many instruments on the markets.com platform?
Ooh, no question. So, if you didn't hear, how many instruments are on the markets.com platform? Any guesses? Random guess. Take a guess. At the back there.
500 plus.
Okay,
That's a good start, but it's not great. No, I can't give you that one. Yes, ma'am. Over 3,000. Can we give the rugby ball to that lady? That is very correct. Solomon, do you want to maybe explain the over 3,000 instruments on markets.com?
Yeah, we got enough time.
How good is your catching, ma'am? Not as bad as my throwing, I hope. There we go. Should be in the locks. Well done.
Well done, Brian. You're on.
Do you want to quickly do the 3,000 instruments on markets.com? Give a bit of a breakdown.
Do we have enough time for that?
Yeah, we got time.
Instrument number 1.
No, but I think it's really cool. I think that's something that I learned on the markets.com platform. It's obviously, for an amateur trader, really easy to sort of understand. And if you are an experienced, wanting to get to the depths of it, the ability to go down to the deepest level of detail, which I think is required, is pretty cool. So, over 3,000 tools. I think I'm on tool number 3 at the moment, Solomon, 6 months in. So, still got quite a bit of learning to do, which I think is really cool. I should have learned the stop loss as a first one, because that I think led to my very first loss, unfortunately. So stop loss, maybe the
common mistake by most people.
Common mistake by most people. Didn't put that in. Okay, second question. I did mention it, so you're going to see hand up. How many test matches did I play for South Africa? Oh, there we go. This guy.
I got that one.
120. Ooh, no, I saw that one. So we're going to go random. You got it right. 124 test matches for the Springboks. Well done, sir. You don't look like a rugby supporter, but well done on listening intently. Very well done.
Great. Okay, Brian, you're watching out for the next hand.
Yeah.
What is the USD Rand dollar exchange rate today?
So the lady, 18 Rand 40 or 14? 40. 18 Rand 40. That's very, very good. You can give that lady.
There's another ball in there.
Oh, sorry. Wouldn't give. How good is your catching, ma'am? There we go. Listen, I want to see how good my hooker throwing is. There we go. Not too bad. You give me surely that's a round of applause for the throw and the catch. Well done, people.
Okay, Brian, you've got the last question.
Okay, the last question. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Can anybody tell me who was the first South African rugby player to score a try in a Rugby World Cup final?
Brett.
No, I can't give you again. There on the left.
Brett.
You. Now you need to tell me his name. Mpimpi. There we go. It was Makazole Mpimpi who became the first South African to score a try in a Rugby World Cup final in 2019, which doesn't say much about my career. Only 124 times. Oh, there we go. Great catch.
Super. That was good.
That was not bad. Well done. Thank you very much for the interactiveness. I was a bit worried that the crowd was very, very quiet for a stage. Hoping it was either our answers were good or they just weren't enthralled. I'm hoping it was the former.
I think they were soft questions. But anyway, Brian, I think the last question we have for you before we let you go.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from Bryan Habana, the legend, in the future?
Ooh, how long do we have? I think there's a few things. I was fortunate enough to co-found a fintech company just over 4 years ago. So we built a earned wage access platform, which has gone really well. So from a payment our perspective, growth through Africa. I think being the market leader in South Africa, we've got over 250,000 now with access to our platform. I think from my trading journey perspective, I'd love to see more P's than L's. It's been a really interesting sort of 6 months journey for me so far, and learning quite a bit. But I think through this relationship and partnership with Marcus.com, to really let people understand, I think the efficiency of trading, the ease of use of certain platforms, but more importantly, how it could potentially, be an alternate source of something. I think you need to be very careful, because very much like 85% that do lose money, in the first while, it isn't something to be taken lightly. It can potentially become an addiction, and it can lead to loss, which I think, I've learned very harshly over the last 6 months. So hopefully more MVPs over the next while, Mr. Gouden, and hopefully see the expansion of the platform both in South Africa, in Africa, and globally. And in so doing, get people excited about trading and experiences like the finance magnets and how collaboratively we can do some incredible things together would be great.
Super. Thanks, Brian. And I suppose do you want to mention about the boots and the coin? And
Yeah, so it is going to be posted on my socials, but myself and Markets.com are going to be putting together quite a cool competition where if you do register on the Markets.com platform and put a deposit in, you could be in an opportunity to win a quarter ounce Kruger Rand, as well as an autographed replica pair of my 100 Test match boots that Adidas made for me, which are pretty cool. They're on show at the stand, so if you are keen to win a Kruger Rand and a pair of boots that made me quite fast, please come to the booth 16 at the Markets.com stand where you can get all the details. So hopefully that's exciting for everyone.
thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day further. Go out.